Hi there, this is Debbie Nicholson. I'm the Director of Community Outreach for Beat Cancer, and I'm coming to you with one of our coaches, Kerry Hardy, and I want you to know more about her so you can see if her message resonates with you for when you're seeking someone to help you heal on your healing journey. Kerry is a holistic RN. She has 4 boys. And she believes that healing needs to honor, in order to heal, we need to honor the mind, body, spirit connection. And healing with love is very important, and raising our vibration so we're in a state of love and joy. And she is testament to this, and she knows that it works. And she has different ways of doing this, and she's going to tell us all about it. So welcome, Kerry.
Thank you for having me.
So tell me, you were a traditionally trained RN, and you became a holistic RN. How did you bridge that gap? How did that kind of happen?
Well, I guess a lot of the things I saw in those traditional environments, like the hospitals and the nursing homes, didn't really resonate with me. I didn't feel like there was any healing involved. I felt like we were just masking problems, using medicine for symptoms, and not really teaching people why they have these problems in the first place. And some of the experiences that I then found myself in working with Connecticut Hospice as a hospice nurse and working with cancer patients in that Yale community, we had the cancer patients, and some of them would graduate and not transition to hospice, and some of them didn't. So I kind of learned an awful lot through my patients during those years of what worked for them and what didn't, and that set me on that path for self-study. And on my path, I also found the Reiki energy work on my personal journey, and that really helped me tune in to who I was and what I needed to do for my own healing. So that big package of that holistic mentality of the mind, the body, and the spirit kind of all started to come together for me as I was working with my patients and seeing those who could connect and those who didn't and just went and took medicine. And there really was a difference there in the success rates of those who healed and had the cancer diagnosis put in remission, or whatever we call it. So
yeah,
really,
that's interesting, because you actually were out there, you had connection with people, and you saw
I saw people graduate.
Forward.
Yeah, and then we also would help those transition because they accepted that this was where they were now. So then we help them find meaning to that present moment.
Right.
And I really learned an awful lot about living in the present and harnessing that energy that you have and using it. But working in that Yale community, there were so many different ways, which we all know. We talk about cancer. There's chemo, and there's radiation, and there's surgery. And there's a place for all of them at the right times if that's something that's really going to work for you. But if it doesn't resonate with you, it's something to really sit and tune into and search for other options. And again, we talk an awful lot about diet and what to eat and what not to eat and how to detox, the supplements that are needed. But that's much more openly discussed. But when you start talking about the mind and the mental thought patterns and your energy field, it all of a sudden sounds crazy. But it's not, because we are energy. Everything is energy, and everything has a different frequency. So what you really need to do is raise your vibration to a healing frequency so the disease can dissipate.
Yeah, I read we're all atoms, really. We're almost all energy and very little matter, which is like what?
We're all stardust, and we're all connected.
Right. So what are some ways of raising our vibration?
Okay, so one of my favorite books was by Dr. Roberto Becker, The Body Electric. And he talks about frequency in the body and how a normal, healthy body frequency is from 62 to 78 megahertz. That's what we vibrate in. We're healthy. But as you lower your vibration down to like 58, you can get a cold or a flu. When you go lower to 52, the Epstein-Barr virus can come in. And down in the 40s, cancer can start to manifest. Once you hit down to 20, the death process begins. So you can see as you lower your vibration, your health just starts to deteriorate. So the goal is to raise it to that healthy number and above. And there's lots of ways you can do that. I love essential oils. I talk all day about essential oils, and they all have different frequencies. Frankincense is 147. So just by putting frankincense into your body, you're now raising your vibration. And of course, it's a healing root from God, gift from God, really. All these plants that we have been given, we need to use them. Myrrh is 105. So I use essential oils as one of the methods. Frankincense has been shown in labs to destroy a mutated DNA cell, a cancer cell. It'll take the nucleus and separate it from the cell. So you've just destroyed it and it can't grow again. I mean, it's amazing. And myrrh has been shown to inhibit growth of a damaged cell by getting into that RNA and not letting it replicate again. If you remember science, right? Mm-hmm. So using frankincense and myrrh, you're now killing the cell as well as inhibiting it from more future growth. And then there's a whole list of oils that can be used for cancer alone. But we also know that your immune system has to work in order for you to tackle the cancer. So you need to do things to boost your immune system. And there's oils for that, cinnamon, clove. There's just a long list. But really tapping into you and who you are and why you got the cancer compared to the next person is where that intuition comes in and that connection to spirit and the mind so that we can find out what's going to work for you. Crystals are another beautiful way to raise your vibration. They're not just pretty little rocks. Some people, oh, it's a pretty rock. Yeah, but it actually has energy. And you can learn to work with them and utilize the energy that they're given, depending on how sensitive you are to the feelings of the energy. I sleep with amethyst by my bed, and I just noticed that instant calming. Wow. And there are some that help clear out that negative that we get. Smoky quartz and a green aventurine, that'll suck up that ECF in the air. These are all things that lower our vibration. So you want to remove it from your aura as best as you can. Okay. So there's a list of crystals that we can talk about. Breast cancer versus pancreatic cancer need different types of frequencies because they're different organs and they had a different thought process as to why it manifested in your body.
That's very interesting.
And you know how I feel about Reiki. We talk about Reiki all the time. Reiki is a Japanese method of bringing in source energy. Whatever you believe source is, whether it's God or spirit or just the universe, that initial star that we all came from, I've heard it all. What matters is, what do you think it is? And the Reiki practitioner can channel that in for you through the rituals in the session. And it just brings in that clear healing energy and helps get that stuck energy moving and out of your system and out of your aura. And it does. Yeah.
So let's tell everybody. So we did a distant Reiki session. And I had some energy sessions before, but I never had Reiki. So I really didn't know what to expect. And it was a distant session because Kerry's in another state. And I got in a peaceful place and laid down, and I had no idea what to expect. And it was really, really interesting because I felt so much, and I had no preconceived notions. And I felt my energy move. And at one point I had a really big gulp in my throat.
Right.
And I swallowed and gulped, and I felt all this lightness then and this coolness. And it was so interesting then, because when you called me, you knew I had that gulp in my throat, and you felt cool towards the end too. So that was the neatest thing ever. And I felt this amazing peace for a couple of days.
Yeah.
I mean, I just wanted to go to sleep. I felt so, I was holding a lot of stress, and it all just went away. And this very interesting lightness that was actually really cool. Maybe I was holding heat from stress, and I don't know what it was, but I felt this coolness and lightness and this freedom from this heavy burden I was carrying.
Right. Well, and Reiki does that. It gets rid of that heaviness and that stress, so that you can, again, raise your vibration and feel better and have a better...
I felt very peaceful. Yeah. Like I felt one with God and nature. And
well, because we connected. You connected to your own spirit. We're all connected. But the neatest thing is that it works distantly. It does, because we are all connected. And it's really not this crazy idea that people like to label it.
right. And if it works, don't question it. Just do it.
Well, and that's kind of been my mission lately, is don't knock it if you haven't tried it. Really, if you haven't ever had a distant Reiki session, you should try it before you have some opinion. And
I'm saying it really did work, and it did help me. And
right.
I'm telling you, this was my experience. It was wonderful.
And it does work on...
I'd like to keep doing it, because it would just really felt very healing.
It does. And it, like you said, it lasted a couple days. Mm-hmm. It really does last a good 7 to 10 days. And I will tell people that in my sessions, that if you're starting your journey, you know, and it's like an onion, you peel a layer back at a time. You do need to go more often, like the chiropractor.
But what's interesting is I connected with that feeling of peace, which I hadn't been able to do. So once you feel that, you want to feel it again. Now it's familiar, and now you want to get back there. How can I get to that place again and stay in that place longer and connect back to that place? So I think raising your vibration and using Reiki was a wonderful way to get there.
Mm-hmm. It is. And I use crystals in my session too, because I want to help elevate. Again, depending on intuitively what we feel you need at that point in time. I do use oils in my session as well. If you're with me, there's always frankincense involved. And when I have regular distant clients, I do actually send them the tools that I want them to use in the session, so they can putting in your body. But if you're not feeling happy about what you're eating all day either, it's not a good thing. So you need to have your ice cream once in a while, because it actually makes you feel good. You can't deny yourself all of the pleasures in life, because that's not helping. So it's finding that balance of what works for you. And, you know, I think
high quality, whatever, you know, the highest quality.
Right. And we talk about coaching. Again, it's about you and what's going to work for you. We know exercise and oxygenation is good, but if you're that person on the treadmill for a half an hour and you're miserable, you don't need to be on that treadmill. You need to be doing something else. So there is no cookie cutter recipe for healing from this. And getting to that root cause and the root problem of why you got the cancer in the first place is huge. You can take your chemo, and if you really feel you need radiation, I mean, we're not going to stop you, but you have to look at the rest of the picture as well. And the mental thought patterns, your past lives sometimes come into play. And just that subconscious, the traumas that happened during your childhood, these are all issues that may apply to you if you have cancer.
And then I think also laughter and connecting to people and just being in joy. Because a lot of times, aren't we just too duty driven and we forget and we we're too fast.
Yeah. Live in the moment.
Slow down.
Yep. Slow down and live right now in the moment, because that's really all that matters. The past is the past. We don't know what the future holds. So by making the present the best you can make it, that again, now you're raising your vibration, you're happy, you're laughing, you're doing what you love, you're eating your chocolate ice cream, and what makes you happy. It's again about self-love. You need to love yourself. We give to everybody else in our lives, and we don't stop and think about what do we need and what makes us happy.
Right.
So checking in with however you need to do that to connect. We talked earlier about routine. Some people can get a routine down like easily, and others can't. They have 4 kids, they have a full-time job. It's hard to just find that hour every day for yourself or whatever you feel you need.
It is.
And you can't feel bad about that or guilty, because again, now that's negative and you're lowering your vibration. So you seize the moment. When you can do it, you do it.
Yeah, I did a 3-minute meditation this morning. But it's on, it has to be on your radar. You have to honor yourself. That has to be on your radar. And maybe it's not a routine, but maybe, there's some practical ways of fitting things in and starting to honor yourself so you can make the journey start moving towards healing.
Yeah. And incorporating oils and crystals and supplements into your life is easy, because we're already in the bathroom putting our makeup on, so you can use the oils right there if they're in the right place, right? Mm-hmm. You're making your tea or your coffee, so your supplements should be right there.
Right.
One of the beautiful things I should say about being a home care nurse in my past was being able to get into that home environment with the patient and really see the environment, because a patient comes to you in the doctor's office, you don't really know what's going on at home. You only know what they tell you. But you go into the home and you can see the environment and what the barriers are that they have for healing. They have family members and how the energy is in the home, if there's conflict or if there's love. Right. It really makes a big difference, because love, it's healing in itself. And we know that, but we don't talk about it. Right. So it's another one of those things. We just need to get that message out, that love is healing.
That's a wonderful message. So where can we find you? You can find Kerry on our website at BeatCancer.Org under Find a Coach. You can find her, and then you can click on learn more about her, and this podcast will be there. And she's on our medical advisory board too, so there's a profile of her also. So tell us about your website.
It's holisticheavenwellness.com, just like it's spelled. It's actually in progress of being updated, so bear with me a little bit. But it does have my contact info and some of the things that I do with a little detailed description. But the coaching piece is so important. It can be done distantly. You don't have to come and see me. We can do it like this, Skype, online, with Zoom, phone calls. The coaching support it's a continuous thing. And I do believe in the energy work and the crystals and the oils. And once we tune in together and we have a session, that intuitiveness comes through, and we know what you need, and I'll send it to you. It's really that easy. And then you just need to use them and incorporate it into your life, and just kind of start going with the flow of what makes you feel good for healing.
That's wonderful. What a wonderful message. And thank you so much for this podcast, for letting people know that there's healing possible in a deeper way that they may not have thought about, and tapping into their heart space and using these wonderful things to help raise our vibration and get there. So please look Kerry up online and remember this, because you're worth it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kerry.